Tonight is the second night of Kwanzaa, and we're celebrating the principal Kujichagulia. Permission to begin.
Yeah, boy.
We are pouring libation. We're asking the Creator to come in and join us. And we're also pouring libation to honor those ancestors who have gone before us. Everyone within the sound of my voice is a manifestation of an ancestor. And you're standing on the shoulders of all of your ancestors. Ashe?
Ashe. Habarigani. This is Elder Greg. I like to remember our ancestors from ancient Kemet, those great ancestors who were responsible for creating mathematics, for astrology, for building the pyramids, like Imhotep, King Akhenaten, Queen Nzinga, all of those great ancestors from the past. And I say, Ashe.
We also pour to those ancestors who dedicated and devoted their lives for ensuring that we would continue to know who we are and know our history. And I'm talking about those ancestors like Frederick Douglass, Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, Harriet Tubman, Dr. Martin Luther King, John Lewis. Pour to them. Ashe?
Ashe. We never want to forget those ancestors struggled in the slave dungeons, were stolen from Mother Africa, boarded ships, some for that Middle Passage. Some transitioned out of the shock and terror of what happened to them. Some transitioned jumping overboard because they didn't want to be enslaved. And some actually made it that allowed us to be here today. So we want to pour to them. Ashe.
Ashe. We also pour to our children, those that are born and those that are yet to be born. And we must work very diligently to leave them a blueprint so that they can continue with our legacy. Ashe?
Ashe. We never want to forget our personal ancestors, those folks who were responsible for us physically, emotionally, spiritually for being here. I always remember my grandmother, Alice Arnold, my mother-in-law, Hattie Reed, my father, Arthur Arnold, my mother, Helena Arnold, and all of those who are in our hearts but not out of our mouth. We say, Ashe.
Ashe. And finally, we pour to ourselves that we continue to make it through this pandemic. We can do that if we do what we're supposed to do. Ashe?
Ashe.
Ashe.
Albert Moore. Some of you may know me from 1580 WVKO. Others may know me as a Columbus City School teacher for over 30 years, where I taught at Whetstone High School, Eastmore High School, North High School, and I started at Walnut Ridge. But Educators Got Talent, Emily Bailey, she called me and asked me if I would be willing to sing the Negro National Anthem. And of course, I'm honored to do anything that those awesome ladies ask me to do. For all of you and for Educators Got Talent, here's the Negro National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the day that hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place on which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that the tears have been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out of the gloomy past till now we stand at last where the white gleam of our star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us safe this far on the way, thou who hast by thy might led us unto the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts drunk with the wine of the world we forget thee, shadowed beneath the hand may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land. God bless you.
Greetings, family. I am so grateful to introduce myself. I am Water Warrior Tiandra. I am a new initiate for the Tawi Family Village through the collective known as El Nawa Akiben. El Nawa Akiben is my family, my immediate family, who you all get to meet during this Kwanzaa as we are the initiate class for 2020. It has been a beautiful experience to be able to have such a strong collective and support group through our culture and our spiritual connection with El Nawa Akiben. El Nawa, as you've heard, I'm sure, means elders, nation builders, and warriors. And Akiben is just tying that all together in our cultural roots. Again, the experience has been just beautiful, and it's been really an anchor for what this year has been for me personally, and I know for us as a collective. The gifts that I'll be sharing with our community is that of a healer and an educator. I love to be a part of collective unity and liberation and lead by truly being free myself to be an example of that and a light. And so I'm grateful to come into this community and just shine on. So thank you all. Grateful to be here and enjoy Kwanzaa. Habari Gani family, today we have the beautiful opportunity of lighting the candle for Kuji Chakalia. Kuji Chakalia stands for self-determination. We are a collective, a community, a family of an eclectic collection of beautiful individuals uniting together under the same umbrella of love. I take care of me for you, you take care of you for me. It's necessary for functional and sustainable unity, which then begets cooperative economics and collective responsibility, making way for continued purpose and creativity through immense faith of God, faith in our ancestors, faith in one another, in ourselves. That's why it's so important to hold Kuji Chagalia high for self-determination, because when we're present, we can be present as a collective. Kuji Chagalia.
Raise your hand if you went someplace. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for going. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to bring on Brother Ised. And Brother Ised is going to come up and do a piece or two. And then we'll have Joshua and then Michael Allen Cundiff. All right, Brother Ised. Now, here we are. This is... what is this? 46 years that Brother Ised has been doing the work in terms of writing plays and poetry and spoken word and books, and just involved in the community all these years. So give a round of applause to Brother Ised.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I think it's time for us to realize who we are and where we are from.
Ashe.
By doing a little poem called Property of Africa. Property of Africa. Property of Africa. You don't know where you're going till you know where you're from. Property of Africa. We are history in all directions. Little, big, tall, small, broke, young, old, rich, blessed with kindness. A healing feeling. So great, we are the property of Africa. Set your spirit free. A peaceful, loving spirit. A rich exchange. Teach the children who they are. Learn a lesson with the truth. Property of Africa. Black life, kings and queens, animals, birds, music, songs, drums, dance. Property of Africa. If you got color or any melanin in your skin, you're something special. Forgive to live, but never forget who you are. As we see others starving the time, slowing the hours, giving, sharing, property of Africa. Minerals and resources, love of God. African children, freedom lags behind. World problems, world problems, world problems. A righteous ending takes raw courage. Property of Africa. Property of Africa. Property of Africa. Property of Africa. 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 Thank you.
One.
Poetry. Hello everyone, my name is Natalia Moore and I go by the name of E Palms. I'm here to introduce you to my new book called Ermias, God Will Rise. It's a spiritual poetry book leading people from the darkness into light. I'm here to read to you 2 of my special poems. I'm actually just going to read this randomly. This book, again, you cannot find anywhere but on Amazon, along with my podcast at e.palms. These poems here are not on it. These are special. So I'm going to read to you guys 2 poems. Here I go. Ermias 8. Myself. I want acceptance from myself. I want an applause from myself. I want myself to acknowledge the fact that I'm different. The fact that I have the power to make a difference. I want myself to appreciate my current self and make a change. To survive in the game. End all the pain. All I need is acceptance from myself. Again, that was Ermias 8, Myself. That was a short poem. Now let me read to you a little longer. Ermias 37, Absorption of Light. I am the black hole absorbing the elements. Earth's energies. Light, I am draining you mentally. Limitless time sensitive, pollutant exposed. Calculated the domination of the abomination. Famine to the heart of man, fear the debris of sin. Concerned, completed. You are seeing demons, detecting the demonic. You are seeing the people in their truth, the people at their worst. You are about to witness the world reborn, death and rebirth. Some will live, some will mourn. The lives will be deceased, ceased, torn and tormented. Welcome to the black hole. And again, Omni Palms, thank you for listening.
Habari gani? Listen, mzuri sana. Habari gani? Hear me now, mzuri sana. Hear me now, listen later, listen. Habari gani? Listen, mzuri sana. Habari gani? Listen, mzuri sana.
Moja kuchicha kulia ujima ujama Nia kuumpa imani Kwanzaa Moja kuchicha kulia ujima ujama Nia kuumpa imani Kwanzaa Listen look Moja unity Listen look Kuchicha kulia self-determination Listen look Ojima, listen look. Ojima, collective work and responsibility. Ojama, cooperative economics. Nia, purpose. Kumba, creativity. Imani, faith. Mani, moja kuchicha kulia. Ojima, ojama. Nia, kuumpa imani. Kwanzaa. Moja kuchicha kulia ujima ujama Nia kuumba imani Kwanzaa Listen look Do your African dance is your part? Do your African dance is your part? Do your African dance is your part? Genetics dance your part. Genetics dance your part. DNA is your part.
Habari gani? Listen look. Mzuri sana. Listen. Habari gani? Hear me now, mzuri sana. Hear me now, listen later, listen. Habari gani? Listen look. Mzuri sana. Listen. Habari gani? Listen, mzuri sana.
Moja kuchicha kulia ujima ujama Nia kuumpa imani Kwanzaa Moja kuchicha kulia ujima ujama Nia kuumpa imani Kwanzaa Listen look
Yo, if you didn't know, now you know. Once I got 7 principles, we live by the code. Unite all the sisters and my bros. We got power in our soul, professional. When I put the beat with the flow, I got water on the low. Drip for the cool, winter in the 614. Red, black and green candles, lit. Habari gani? Mzuri sana. Habari gani? Mzuri sana. Habari gani? Mzuri sana. Habari gani? Mzuri sana. Habari gani? Listen, mzuri sana. Listen. Habari gani?
Hear me now,
Mzuri sana.
hear me now, listen later, listen.
Habari gani?
Listen look.
Mzuri sana. Habari gani? Mzuri sana.
Moja kuchicha kulia ujima ujama Nia kuumpa imani Kwanzaa Moja kuchicha kulia ujima ujama Nia kuumpa imani Kwanzaa Listen look Moja unity Listen look Kuchicha kulia self-determination Listen look Ojima Listen look Ojima collective work and responsibility Ojama cooperative economics Nia purpose Kumba creativity Imani faith Mani faith
Habari gani? Mzuri sana. 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 Habari gani? Mzuri
apart.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Tawi Family Village for nominating me for this award. I'd like to thank it because receiving this award, I have much gratitude because having an opportunity to serve the African American community has been a lifelong desire of mine. And so when it gets acknowledged, it really says to me that through people, God is pleased with the work that we do at the National Center for Urban Solutions, the Academy for Urban Scholars, and the African American Male Wellness Walk. So on behalf of the whole staff and myself, I want to say thank you, and we are grateful that you're acknowledging that the work we're doing to empower African Americans for education, health, and self-sufficiency.
Happy Kwanzaa to all. I'm Linda James Myers. I am a retired professor whose research interest has been developing a theory of optimal psychology, which helps us understand not only the mindset and worldview of the people who are our ancestors' captors, but also what the height of our cultural tradition in terms of classical African civilization has left us in terms of understanding humanity. And as you know, 2020 has been a year when all of us have had good reason to critically self-reflect and take advantage of how the energies are shifting at this time. It's been a horrific year for many, but it's also been a grand year because for those of us who have become self-determining, we see things differently than those of us who are still letting someone else define our reality for us. And that becomes very dangerous and damaging if that someone who's defining reality for us are the progeny of our ancestors' captors. Their thinking, their mindset, their cultural ideology is what got us here. And so if we're not self-determined, 99.9% of the time, we're seeing things, defining reality the way they have socialized us to see and define reality. Of course, now you know, having spent 4 years of under leadership that we know that the values are absent. The spiritual acumen is undeveloped. And we also know that the incapacity that's been with us for almost 400 years to see us as African people, particularly non-immigrant Africans whose ancestors built this nation's wealth, see us as fully human. So what I want to do as I talk about Kujichagulia is talk about it in terms of its power as one of the most important Kwanzaa principles, simply because self-determination is going to be foundational in terms of how you structure collective work and responsibility, faith, all the other principles. So let's begin by maybe spending a little bit of time talking about what we mean by self-determination. And simply put, it just simply means thinking for yourself. If you're not thinking for yourself based on our African ancestral traditions, more specifically the wisdom tradition of African deep thought, then more times than not, you're going to be thinking based on the worldview of our ancestors' captors. And they, you can tell by where we are today, have not been effective in terms of how they define reality. They've been very materialistic, and they've let the spiritual aspect of being go. And with that kind of miseducation or missocialization, we begin to define ourselves in reality the same way. Clearly, the pandemic of racism is important for us to understand at its roots. And at its roots are certain values that allow the consciousness in this society, which is dominant to see us as less than human. But indeed, we are the mothers and fathers of all human culture and civilization. So our self-determination has to be such that we begin to determine who we are for ourselves. We begin to determine our relationship to one another, our relationship to that spiritual aspect of being. All these things become essential in terms of self-determination. First off, we have to determine the nature of reality that we're going to accept. Our ancestors were very clear. They wrote about the creation of God consciousness in human consciousness. And the human consciousness they refer to as Ta. And they begin this section on the creation of Ra as Ta by saying that it is Ta who has given existence to all divine powers and to their essences through his heart, mind, and tongue. Thus it came to pass that the heart, the mind, and tongue ruled all the other members through the teachings that Ta is within everybody as heart and mind, and within every mouth as tongue. Of all the divine powers, of all humankind, of cattle, of all creeping things, of all living things. And he thinks as heart, mind, and commands his tongue, whatever he wishes. That's self-determination. You're creating your reality. They go on to say, the seeing of the eyes, the hearing of the ears, and the breathing of the nose are commanded and communicated to the heart and mind. And the heart and mind cause all perceptions to come forth. And what the heart and mind wish are declared by the tongue. So were all divine powers created, and the company of divine powers completed. Indeed, every world of God came into being through that which the heart, mind, and mind thought, and the tongue commanded. Thus, by means of this word, all faculties and qualities were fashioned and created, which furnish all food and yield all nourishment. And thus justice is given to one who does what is loved, and punishment is given to one that does what is hated. Thus also life is given unto the peaceful, and death unto one who violates the law. So I'm reading from the creation of Ra as Ta, because it lets us know the importance of thinking for ourselves, defining reality for ourselves, thus being self-determining. So having said that, I'm going to turn to our Kwanzaa family to join in this conversation, because I know it's so difficult to just listen to talking heads. So welcome, Kwame. Welcome, Hatim.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm well.
All right, so we're gonna put you up in the spotlight because you're gonna be answering some of the questions. And I'm gonna Kwame, if you want to go first, you can. If not, I'm gonna jump right in, my man. You better get it while you can.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
All right. So now you use the term mis-socialized.
Mm-hmm.
Can you please break that down for us? What does this mean? Because I heard of miseducation, but
So socialization has to do with the way we're taught really to define reality. It's teaching us how to fit into the social norms, values, and cultural worldview that's dominant in the society. That's the socialization. Mis-socialization for us as people acknowledging African ancestry is being socialized into the same way of thinking and cultural beliefs and values, and to a certain extent, mores of the dominant culture. This socialization has to do with the fact that from our being brought to this country, having been kidnapped and trafficked to build the wealth of our captors and that of this nation, every intention has been made to socialize us into defining reality and seeing the world the way our captors see it. And so that for us is also a psychology of oppression process. If you control the way people think, you control the people. If you control the way people think, you don't have to relegate them to an inferior status. They will seek it for themselves. That's missocialization.
All right. So, all right. As a doctor, what institutions would we have to get control of to be able to start socializing ourselves and our children in the ways that we need to?
We'd certainly have to take control of the most important institution, whose responsibility it is to socialize the members of a society into a particular cultural worldview and belief system, and that is formal education.
What? You mean school? School is, see, and I want to stress this point, family. School is as she said, the most important, because it's designed to socialize us, not just to educate us, but it helps us fit into the dominant structure. And you say that Coogee Chocolate is about
self-determination.
Right. I mean, yeah, self-determination is about defining yourself.
For yourself. Yeah.
Defining reality for yourself. And
I want to jump in here real quick, bro. So, Elder, some of us, we think we got a good education and everything, and life is fairly well. So, could you explain to us how this missocialization plays out in our family lives, in terms of how we, as quote unquote conscious brothers and sisters, interact with each other?
Such good questions. And self-determination, well, let's back it up a bit. If I'm going to be self-determining, that means I'm going to have to examine what my beliefs are, what assumptions are shaping my definition of myself, my definition of others. What is I assuming is true about the nature of reality itself, the spiritual aspect of being? Because all of these things, Kwame, are what's going to determine how I'm going to respond. And the missocialization that we've got as non-immigrant Africans in America is that we have been socialized to define reality. Our captors made extremely concerted efforts to take control of our mind, because absent taking control of the African mind, chattel enslavement couldn't work. We have to have impact on the way people are thinking and defining reality. So when we are not self-determining, when we have been missocialized into the worldview of the dominant culture, it leaves us feeling insecure, fearful, anxious, depressed, angry, prone to addiction. All of these things become a part of our way of being in the world, because that's the way of being that the dominant culture has perpetrated. Am I making sense?
Amen.
Making a whole lot of sense. I might need some counseling. You know what I'm saying? And now you said that in the 2020 the covers have been pulled off of white supremacy. Can you give some? Do you have an example of this? I mean, even though it might be to a lot of us, but maybe not to some. Like, how has the covers been pulled off? What are some of the things that you think might have exposed what a lot of us have been studying for years and been screaming out, that now people can see?
Well, for those who've been blind to racism and white supremacy and its savagery, they can't be that way anymore after having gone through 4 years of white supremacy being in the leadership. So the covers have been pulled off in a large part by our soon-to-be past president. He has been such representation of who America is and what America is that, I mean, George Floyd, all the people who have been murdered for no reason other than the belief that somehow we're not fully human. When a culture is socializing its members such that the children have to take to the street and shout Black Lives Matter, we've been missocialized as a whole. Certainly those who've taken to the street have enough sanity and wisdom and courage to stand up because they know this is some crazy stuff.
You know,
it's hard to keep acting like it's hard to keep acting like
right.
Insanity and nonsense makes sense.
I wanted to go maybe a little deeper on that idea of treating us less than human, because I think I want you to speak to whether it's a sociopathology or a psychopathology. I want you to speak to that aspect because I've seen where animals were treated better than. And if you look at their laws, you see that they have laws that protect them from the kind of mess that we are subjugated to. So I want you to speak to that sociopathology or that psychopathology aspect of this.
Well, simply put, what could a people be thinking who think it's okay to go to a continent and kidnap millions of people, mostly young people and children, capture, kidnap them, and traffic them to the Americas as chattel, enslaved produce? Who thinking? Who does that? Oh, well, that's what everybody does, because that's our history. That's what they do. That's what they've done, and that's what they do. So, for me, that's crazy. And that's what led me to develop this theory of optimal psychology, trying to figure out what could they be thinking? This is crazy. But we are forced to act like what? It's not. It's normal. It's normal for us. It's normal. That's missocialization, is that this is normal. It's not normal. It's not normal to live in a society where the people you pay to protect and serve you shoot you and your children in the back most of the time, at will, without any recourse, without any justice
or remorse.
So anyway, that's the social context of psychopathology and sociopathology. That's what's happening in the society from a sociopathological point of view. And from a psychological point of view, that's what's happening because the assumptions you bring to this reality you're defining and creating is an assumption that you are essentially a material being, and that spiritual force that would anchor you morally and be your compass is cut off. And as a consequence, materialistic values and focus are primary. So we see it today in 2020. Who has to figure out whether we should spend whatever tax dollars we have to give to the extremely wealthy, or rather maybe we should give it to the people who have children who are starving, or people who don't have jobs? I mean, come on now, what's our level of social reasoning, our moral reasoning? And so, Kwame, in answer to your question, in terms of, psychopathology, that's just looking at the individual, supposedly. Sociopathology is supposedly looking at the collective. Those are interesting words, but they don't have a lot of meaning and value unless we've come to be self-determined enough to figure out what it means to be mentally healthy. What does it mean to be human? I think it means that you engage strangers, kidnap and traffic them to the America as chattel in a caste system. No. So we have to begin to really become more conscious of who we are, where we are, how we got here, and what makes sense, particularly at this time when they now unleashed white supremacy. It's on its last leg. Hopefully we'll make it till the 20th without anything more terribly drastic happening than has happened already.
Wow. Why you picked the 20th?
January 20th is supposedly
the
new
trans.
comes in.
Okay, cool.
But again, we can't be
right.
Not a solution. That's just a more civilized form of the problem.
Right. In some cases, you know.
I'm just thinking, I want to, in terms of self-determination, I want our audience to be aware that the thinking that brought our ancestors here is alive and well today.
Yes, it is.
There's movement toward being just and civil because on the backs of our ancestors and loved ones, we fought for making this country what it says it was supposed to be. Freedom and justice for all. Wherever we've gotten in that, or wherever the nation's gotten in that, that's on the backs of Black people. A lot of people have benefited, but it's been on our backs.
That's right.
So
because our ancestors were self-determined. But what has happened as we've become more assimilated into the dominant culture and the ideology of our ancestors' captors, as we become increasingly socialized and have acculturated and assimilated into that, now we're at greater risk than we've ever been in our history here, because we've been cut off from that which is or will be our salvation and the salvation of humanity, for that matter.
So what steps could an individual take? Is there, I mean, because like I'm not in school no more, the socialization process, I feel it might be too late for me. What can I do to become move in line with Kujichagulia in the way that you're talking about it now?
Well, you know, I had done a community project on, and it's looking at, it's a guide to African Indigenous American, meaning the values of Indigenous people, not the colonizers, psychology and a cultural model. And this little training guide, I tried to lay out what people could do individually and collectively to come to true self-determination. And one of the elements of the model for that is kind of reversing Tahuti's 10 cardinal principles and having people start with learning to cultivate the ability to distinguish between the real and the unreal.
My, oh my.
And how do they get, how do we get how will we get a hold of that? I mean, is it available?
It is available. They just have to contact me or you, and I can make sure they you know.
Yes, ma'am. It's called Our Health Matters.
A guide to an African Indigenous American psychology and cultural model for creating a climate and culture of optimal health.
Cool. All right. So you got it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hey.
So from there, we go to cultivate the ability to distinguish between right and wrong. See, people don't realize that what we've been told is real in this social context is unreal. And what our ancestors knew was real, but they called unreal, is actually what is real. The height of science from every cultural groups now come full circle and is re-engaged at a higher level what our ancestors have always said. But a lot of people don't know their history, because that's one of the things that has cut us off from our ancestry and our self-determination, because we've been denied access to our history and culture, which swings us back to your point with regard to education. We have to begin to be able to educate our children toward the reality that brought us here or got us here as people acknowledging African ancestry, and will take us to the next step. And unfortunately, a lot of us, because of internalized racism, have taken on the values and beliefs. Values being my identity and worth as a human being based on my skin color, or my income, or my position, my education, where I got, how much I got. All of these external criteria become not only who I believe myself to be, but how good or bad I feel about myself. And what people need to be aware of is it's not hit them in the face by now, even in 2020. Who you are is so much more than what you do or how you look. When you come to understand who you really are, as our ancestors knew, is a creative life force, a spiritual force manifesting as us, through us. We are intrinsically worthy. So it will be sad, Kwame and Hatim, if our people, African people, people acknowledging African ancestry, become the last to pick up that knowledge, wisdom, and understanding our ancestors left for us, because we're so busy following out and after someone else's definition.
Now, you said something there. You said to be the last. Are you telling me the other people are using stuff from our culture?
Absolutely. Have been taking the parts that they can use for, I mean, all this so-called, they call it New Age spirituality and all of that. That's our stuff. Mindfulness, what they call positive psychology, all of these, all of the true knowledge about what it means to be fully human has African roots.
So they repackaging our stuff and selling it back to us.
Oh yeah,
man.
Interestingly, it's the fringes of
our stuff.
No, the fringes of mainstream culture.
Oh, okay.
Look, remember the woman who was Marianne, somebody who was running for, I think, Democratic.
Right, Dr. Marianne Williamson.
Okay, I don't know her name, but I do know she is someone who has taken our stuff.
Yes, she has, right.
But not acknowledged it. But you know, she was marginalized.
Right.
She's there. So people who think like that are on the fringes of the culture.
Okay, yes.
But they will always be on the fringes until they have mastered that electromagnetic force that comes through the African wisdom tradition.
She called it an electromagnetic force that comes through us. Wow. And you got anything else, Brother Kwame?
Yeah. Help me understand what this electromagnetic force is.
Well, you know, when Tahuti said all is mind, all is mental, and then he goes down to, you know, the other 7 principles about how the universe is governed. Thought is electromagnetic force, as we are spiritual electromagnetic beings. Think about it this way. Think about all is energy. That's a simple way to think about it. All is energy. And energy as we know it on the earth plane at this time is essentially electromagnetic. So what that means for us as human beings and the mothers and fathers of all human culture and civilization is we want to be on the channel of optimal psychology.
Sure. And I'll put one last question. I just want to get your take on it. So, quote unquote, in the beginning was noon, and noon was perfect symmetry. So what was it that broke that symmetry so that we have what we have?
Well, noon, what did you say is perfect symmetry?
Yes.
Yeah, noon is consciousness. You also have in the beginning was the word. And the word
was God.
And was with God. And dwelt among men. So consciousness is the source, is the creative life source, creative life force, and it's also part of that electromagnetism.
Okay.
Can I say it
Yes, ma'am.
different way that maybe people will get a little bit easily. You know how when you walk into a room, you pick up the vibes.
Talk about it. Talk about it.
You pick up the energy. So we know in terms of electromagnetic force, our heart projects, what is it they say, out to 16 feet away from our body. So we really are coming into each other's vibrations, so to speak. But if we're not conscious, having worked on ourselves and come to our own sense of intrinsic worth and being, we will let someone else define reality for us. We won't be self-determined. We'll let somebody say, oh, you're the wrong color, you're the wrong this, you're the wrong that. No. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. And we carry with us such a tradition that we've shared it with all of humanity. So, we just need to be clear about who we are, where we are, and what time it is, because this is our time.
This is our time.
Yes, the universe has opened it up.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And so we just need to be ready, be present, and stop relying on people. It would be like relying on your 2-year-old to guide you through life, as opposed to the 70-year-old who's lived life. You wouldn't do that. Oh, but in this society, you may do that. You may rely on the children as opposed to the wise elders. We've got to learn. So this is another way to say that same thing. Imagine us in a race. We're running around the track. We're coming up behind Western white culture. And we're running as fast as we can, and they're ahead of us. As self-determining people, what do we need to know as we as human race? We need to know, the reason it looks like they're ahead of us is we've lapped them.
Ooh!
We've lapped them by 6,000 years, at least. So do not be fooled by appearances.
Wow!
Think for yourself.
I like that.
Create that.
I need my explosion. That was a paradigm blower upper there, right there. I was like, oh, what do you do? Run faster? And she told me.
I was thinking, I got to determine how much kick I got left.
Right? How much? But we could walk across the finish line. So. We
lay down, take a 2,000 unit. No, we don't have time for that.
No, we ain't got it.
It's time for us to step into our rightful place. Claim it. Claim it. People, please. Look at this year. This society socialized people in such a way that they let a pathological psychopath continually lie, misrepresent, create chaos. And 70 million people in the society wanted them to stay.
Wanted them to stay. Still mad. That's why we gotta pray. That's why we gotta
26 leaders, governmental leaders supported that. Wanted to throw out all the votes and have the court. Okay, I'm just saying.
I hear you, and every time I hear it, I just have to shake my head like I grew up with these people, man.
Look at COVID.
Oh my God.
Ourselves. And see, given our history, we won't be in a position saying, oh, they wouldn't do that. Oh, not only would they did. And still do. So just do your research. Think for yourself. The media, along with the formal education system, work together in a society to control your thinking.
Part of the socialization.
That is the socialization. So
I hope y'all heard that. I might have to go in and cut this up and put that on repeat about 3 times. The education and the media work together to socialize and control how we think.
Totally,
right?
Totally. And what we don't realize is that there are people who are paid millions of dollars a year to get you to believe you need this thing over that thing so you can be happier, more successful. We used to call them people on Wall Street, but now with the internet, you don't have to you're going to interfere with your conversation with your friend by throwing in an advertisement about. So plus screen stuff is going straight into your consciousness, unfiltered unless you're a critical thinker.
Right.
It's just, you are being literally brainwashed because we are electromagnetic beings. So, just so much for people to become aware of. It's time. A lot of things, like I say, the cover's been pulled off, and you'd have to be more than blind not to be able to see what's happening. Our question then is, are we going to become self-determined enough to take leadership, our rightful leadership?
Elder, speaking of that blind piece, because, I've been blind now for half my life, 27 years. And there are most definitely some things I miss being able to see. But primarily, it's when I think of my nieces and nephews who I've never had the chance to see, or what those nieces and nephews who were children when I could see, what they look like now. But in many respects, when I reflect in the mornings, I feel so blessed that I cannot see, because that filters out almost 70-something% of the mess that the rest of you have to deal with. So then I become, more critical in terms of what am I listening to? And so, that's
that's so perfect. Thank you so much for sharing that, Kwame, because another way to say that is, how am I being programmed? These people are serious about controlling the African mind.
Yes, they are.
They started out there. It wasn't something they just figured out. They started out there. They said, okay, how can we control the thinking of these people so that we can get them to do that which we desire them to do? So they've been at this for a very long time. They're quite good at it. But we're even better, particularly when we know who we are, know our cultural advantage, and know that the power of self-determination lies within us. It's not out there somewhere.
It's in us.
And what we're really going to have to do now that there is an opportunity with the energies, the force fields being open, we've got to be very strong in taking a stand and pushing people in positions of leadership to do the right thing. We're not going to do it if we don't push it.
That's right. That's right. So if there's nothing else, we want to thank you for joining us and sharing and dropping the bomb on Kuji Chagalia. Oh my God. Once again, our family, this is Dr. Linda James Myers, retired professor. One of the are you the creator or one of the creators of optimal psychology?
The creator.
The creator of optimal psychology. She lifted up the book. We're going to find a way to get
my training guide. So there are 2 others that I can know about. But yeah, there's so much that now about control.
Do you have anything available digitally for the people?
I don't. Actually, I'm going to get with you, Hatim, and maybe audio record my book, my first book.
Uh-oh.
That way you can access it.
Your first. Now, what's the first book?
Understanding an Afrocentric Worldview.
That's what I thought. That book is rare, and that book is rare. And on Amazon, they charge a pretty penny for that book. You know what I'm saying? I would be honored. And family, we want to thank you for joining us on this Kwanzaa night. And once again, we want to celebrate. We want to lift up our mother, our spiritual. Well, this is one of my spiritual mothers. And I always learn when I sit at her feet, and I love being in this type of energy. I want to thank you for joining us. Kwame, you got any parting words?
I just thank you, Elder. You know, our time is well spent, and it's always a pleasure to sit with you.
Likewise.
And if anybody wants to get in touch with you, Dr. Myers, do you have I don't know if you're on Facebook or anything like that. I mean, because we got to do some programming too. They programming. We got to keep stuff out there for our people.
Well, one of the things I do want our listeners to know, we do on the first and third Monday of the month a program for the Association of Black Psychologists called Creating Zola Mondays. Zola is a Bantu word, Kikongo and isiZulu word for love, peace, productivity, tranquility. Those electromagnetic energies are what we're hoping to help people learn how to wield.
They can find that. They can just look up Creating Zola Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or just go to the Students of Black Psychology or National ABPSI website. Okay. It's up there on Facebook.
Okay, cool. All right, family, y'all heard it. And we want to thank you for joining us, and we are out.
Peace and blessings.
One love.
Watch the next video. Watch the next video. Watch the next video. No, I'm just joking, family. Family, thank you for joining us. Be sure to catch us on the next video, family. Peace. Watch the next video. Watch.
But you can keep it loose and clothing. Example. Am I the only one who didn't know? Boss.
ahead, girl. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, work it, God. Give it a time. You are the keep you warm. Alright? Work it, PJ. Yes, darling. Miss Tatiana. Work it, Tatiana. Yes, darling. Yeah, girl. I'll keep you encouraged too. Yeah, girl. Oh my God. What is it? Yes, darling. Miss Lucy. Yeah, girl. Celebrate, girl. Straight from Love Magazine. For real, love. It's a top model. Yes, darling. Lucy, girl. Yes. Yes. Ladies. Okay, good. Yes, darling. I see you, girl. Oh my God, I'm having a hot flash, y'all. Okay, so I'm gonna get ready for this last thing. I'm usually in the back, I'm not the commentator. I gotta make sure the clothes look right there. I'm out here today. This next thing is called Evolve. And this thing on April 21st, here in the ballroom, King Arts Complex, I will be showing my summer spring collection. And if you want to get a ticket early, you can get them for $10. Otherwise, they're $20 in advance, $30 at the door. VIP, $100. Platinum, $50. VIP Gold. What do you get with the Platinum? You get advertiser's wine and a swag bag and front row seating. The VIP Platinum for $100. You get everything the Gold get, plus whatever the piece I show in the show for that scene, you also get too. I don't know if you've ever been to my shows. This is what I'm trying to do really fast. So I have to not show my full range, but something that the girls can get into quickly. The Platinum is this is the first time I did the Platinum, where I'm actually giving a piece to go with that Platinum scene. And the reason why I call it Evolve, because I think we should evolve and go to the next level. We can't stay stagnant in the same place. And we can't keep doing what we've been doing, or we're going to keep getting what we keep getting, the same thing over and over again. So this was called Evolve. And my show is just not a fashion show. It also has a message in it. So if you've ever been to them, you know it's more than just fashion. It's a lot of fun, and usually when people leave, they don't leave the same way they came in. So it's just April the 21st here at the King Arts Complex. You can come to my studio, and I'm going to pass out cards, and you can get them, the early ones, for $10. And I'll give you a card, or you give me your name today, give you $10, or you'll be paying $20. And they're worth $30 at the door, I guarantee you. Okay, so we're going to get ready. Ladies, we're going to do what we did at the first scene on this one also.
We're on the front, line up right here in the front. That's coming out. Line door, line right here.
This is a sneak peek of my spring collection and a little bit of my jewelry. gonna relax. Right. So go in your order without the other person there so you can figure it out. Stand back. Now we're gonna do ladies, the walk. This dress is on the walkable print you have on her left leg. And one earring, you don't need to. Very busy print. Exactly, yes. Walkable print, every print. This is just a little bit of the pieces that you're going to see. I haven't really started on the collection. What's great on that? Go ahead, Tatiana. Really pointing off cut off the wires. You don't have to make no sense. Just wear it. Have fun with it. Cutting angles, look at this time. She didn't work in here. Yes, ma'am. I see you, son. Work it, girl. You are fabulous, darling. Yes, son. Star is coming out to sleep. What do you see that at? Colorful and bright. Pink and brown combination. Yes. Work it. This color comes man. I love it. You gotta come and see her do her thing. April 21st. Because it gets early. Yes, darling. These pieces are in any stages. They'll look different April 21st when I complete them. They'll be accents with leather, beads, a lot of different elements that we need to see. Yes. There's a thing called origami. This is Miss Rina. Yes. Long on one side, short on the other. That's fine. Work it out, baby. Work. Go ahead, Gloria. Sometimes you just want to be a butterfly. You know me. This one's so nice. Yes. I love it. I don't know if y'all ready for my girls. Because they don't be playing. They came here to show out, and they doing just that. Yes, darling. Yes. And they ain't doing everything. I showed them the new leader. It's a little something. Yes. Go ahead, Gloria. Yes. I saw that girl. I like that. Yes. Okay, ladies, so I'm going to show you a little bit of my jewelry. They all covered up right now. Ladies, walk forward just a little bit, please. And stand still, please. Now, I want y'all to do that walk. Like we were talking about. Remember? Hello? So when I go 1, 2, 3, this is how to do that. 1, 2. Now work. Yes, girl. Did y'all see that? Little piece that she's working out, girl. Work. Work it, work it, girl. can see. I see you, girl. Yes, ma'am. What she got on over there? Look at what? Hey, I see you. Work. That's the master. I see you. You better work it. Yes, darling. You are so fabulous. You are so beautiful. Look at these lovely black women up here. You don't think no better than this. I don't think so. Yes, darling. What you got on? Let me see. Yes, darling. Yes, darling. You better quit playing. You better quit playing. Hello, darling. I see you. Yes, ma'am. I like that. Yes, darling. Y'all don't know what to do with all that. No, you don't. I would just say, where it comes up to it, quit playing with them. Where it is. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Do it, girl. No, you. Turn around, let me see it first. Come here, girl. Turn around, girl. Okay. Come here, girl. Wait a minute. Come here, girl. You know you got to look good now. You know how my hair is. Work it. Go ahead now. Bring it out. Yes, ma'am. Work it, darling. Work it, baby. Yes. I like that. I told y'all what I'm saying. We are at the end. This is just a taste of a little bit of spring. I would like all my ladies. Yeah, go ahead. Come on. Go ahead, break it down. Go ahead, girl. Yes. I do wear a little fur in the spring. Yes, I do. I like that. Yes, ma'am. Do it. Put them as they press on. Yes, honey. Work it. Yes, ma'am. I see you. Yes. Work it, girl. Yes. Thank you. Come down, baby.
Let's give it up. Yes. Let's give it up. Example. She done gave African stashes for the winter. Come on now. Let's go. We got African coats and hoodies and hats. Let's get it. Come on, y'all. Let's go. We can wear African clothes in the winter. Let's do it. Jones and all that. Let's do it.
I would like to thank everybody for coming out. I thank God for you guys blessing me by your presence. I'm thankful there's no jealous haters in the room.
I'm jealous. I want to wear something.
We're all loving, that we can love one another. And see that we are all beautiful in here.
I say.
I'm just up here doing my thing and working my gift. And if you was up here doing your thing, I would applaud and you do your gift.
Right.
So you keep doing you, I'm keep doing me. And that's how we all come together. Come shop with me and I'll come shop with you. And if you don't come, I'm going to come shop with you. Let's support one another.
Thank
you.
Don't nobody have to wear clothes like you though, baby.
Hit that runway, girl. Hit that runway.
What a way to end Kwanzaa, y'all. Pardon me. What a way to end at the King Complex. Now, when we Sunday at the Millennium School, let's give it up for all the models, all these beautiful black men and women. Let's do it. Let's go. I see the coat somebody might want to purchase because it's kind of cold outside. Don't be scared to get you a furry hat or a coat or something. It's cold out there. All right. Let's get it. Walk it on. What is that? Rose gold? Yes, baby. Come on, man. Turquoise. Look at this. Come on now. Black women. All right. This black butterfly right there. Yes. Oh, yeah. I'm back up on the back. Not again. My brother Bo right here. Yes. My brother.
When you're down in trouble and you need some love and care, and nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon
Kwanzaa should always be in our heart. And another thing that should always be in your heart is the inspiration, motivation, the desire to read. I'm a member of the National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa. And every year on Martin Luther King's birthday, we ask everyone that we know to take an hour to read. Just take 1 hour to read. You can start in the restroom, the bathroom, the bedroom, the kitchen table, the sofa. But at one time in our life, we could not read. We were not allowed to read. Now we can read, but we don't read. And so this is our national incentive, because we are an educational professional organization made up of teachers, certified teachers. So I need everyone, please do not leave tonight without pledging to read, and you can read to your children. But that's the National Sorority of Phi Delta Kappa, and Gamma Alpha chapter is located here in Columbus. Thank you. Touch your heart and say, I pledge to read forever. Reading is power.
All right, family, if you could, give a round of applause. Powerful pledge. Let's circle up, family. Let's circle up. We're going to do the closing circle. And from the closing circle, we're going to move to the food. Now, elders, go first. I know y'all hungry. I appreciate your patience. But we want to make sure all of the elders following our tradition go first. So we want to start right here, and we want the circle to stop right here at the drums. Right here. So Elder Tony is going to light the last 2 candles for us as a community as we complete this ritual. Ladies, y'all need to get up in the circle. So repeat after me. Minute by minute. Y'all can do better than that. Minute by minute. Hour by hour. If you lose your history, you lose your power. Minute by minute. Hour by hour. lose your faith, you lose your power. If it is to be, it's up to me. I feel good about myself. I feel good about the people around me. I feel goodness all around me. And it will follow me for the rest of my life. Because I walk with good. And I talk with good. And I am good. And that feels real good. Good, better, best. Never let it rest. Till your good is your better. And your better is your best. Black people, we were great. We shall be greater still. Lose not faith. Lose not courage. Go forward. Uplift the race. Harambe! 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 Time to eat.
Are you heading out of town or have a special occasion? What about birthdays, anniversaries, or reunions? Get the best deals and inexpensive rental car rates, midsize sedan, compact cars, and more. We have a variety of fleet vehicles to accommodate any and all of your rental car needs. Make a reservation today at your local budget rental car on Hamilton Road in Whitehall. Call 614-863-7500.
Happy Kwanzaa. I'm Carla, and my sister Karen and I own Two Natural Sisters. We've been in business for 5 years, and we sell a line of natural bath, body, and candle products. Let's take a look. Follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram, at Two Natural Sisters. All items that are in stock will be shipped within 24 to 48 hours. As a promotional item, we offer a CD of Black romantic poetry of self-love and coupled love, and 50% discount on Sister Locks, Brother Locks by consultant Sapphire Donetta Mahadi. If you have any questions, you can reach us at customercare@twonaturalsisters.com. Enjoy and happy Kwanzaa.
What's going on? My name is Doe. I am the owner and creator of Madeline Gin. Madeline Gin is best described as a celebratory art experience that exudes hella blackness. Initially, the company was founded to provide a luxurious but affordable art experience, and it's since transformed itself into something a bit more spiritual. By walking in what I believe to be my truth, I've been able to get in contact with my ancestors and use my platform and my art, my gift, to tell their untold stories. I do that by using different textures, by utilizing different mediums, colors, and just making things pop out so that it's open for interpretation. I love creating, and I can't wait to be of service to you. Thank you.
I am a genius. My ancestors were geniuses. My ancestors have made me a genius in all that I think, say, and do. I must declare myself a genius. I am a genius. Whenever I am myself, I practice my geniusness and do great things. All my thoughts, choices, and deeds must express my geniusness.
I am a genius. My decisions must always be in the best interest of myself, my family, my people, and my God. Only then will I and everyone I know that I am a genius.
I am a genius. At all times, my geniusness must reflect my culture. My geniusness must serve my God. My geniusness must make me be one in love and harmony with my family. My geniusness must protect my people. Yes, at all times I must demonstrate excellence because I am a genius.